This is how skateboarding looked in its early stages. Concrete surfing, just getting the good feel of pushing around. But when this guy showed up, he would change skateboarding forever. Probably the most important skater for the evolution of modern street skating, Rodney Mullen. We're gonna have a look at an old Plan B ad, the house that Rodney built, which shows the most important tricks he invented. And we're gonna have a look at most tricks in a chronological order to find out which trick was invented when, and that is gonna help us to understand street skating as a whole. Quick side note on this ad, there is not every trick that Mullen invented, otherwise they probably needed to fill an entire magazine. So whether you like it or not, the origin of doing skateboard tricks lies in freestyle. And there was this one kid being quite good at it at a young age. In 1979, Mullen came up with Godzilla rail flips. Around 13 years old, already invented his first trick. That is pretty special at this young age to have the creativity and also the ability to invent tricks. Rodney just added a body varial into a rail flip and tada, new trick. We're not done with 79 yet. Before the ollie kickflip and all that kind of stuff, we got 540 shove-its. Now this might come as a surprise that shove-its have been around before ollies, but it also kind of makes sense because you don't have to use the pop technique. Very technical move, especially if you consider the time it was invented. Side note, on the ad it is not mentioned in which stance. Also found this nollie backside version, but this is from the 80s. Okay, we're making it to the 80s with the Heli Pop. A nollie backside 360 just invented by the beginning of the decade. Yeah, that's interesting. This trick was invented just 1 year before the ollie. So when we have a closer look at this shot from 1980, we can see there's a little bit of airtime, but he managed to do that without the nose popping the floor. So I can only guess the mindset was following a nollie 360 shove with the body. These days it's more likely to see the trick pop though. And in Mullen's case we can also see he developed a good amount of pop on that trick over the years. These days it's a very common trick, almost like kind of a basic trick, but not to forget, back then this was the creme de la creme.
No one had ever seen anything like what he did.
Now let's continue with another trick from 1981. The Gazelle. The one we just saw was nollie backside. It's just my assumption that this was the original way, like there is no speak of frontside, backside, regular nollie, switch, fakie. We're just gonna add a shove it into the Heli Pop and there we go. Today this is a decent technical trick. Back then, I don't know, it must have looked like magic.
One of Rodney's simpler innovations that completely revolutionized skateboarding was the flat ground ollie.
Even on vert, when ollies were first invented, Alan Gelfand didn't really hit his tail, he just kind of scooped it. And so when we would try to mimic that on the street, we would just do it without hitting our tail and barely get anywhere.
In 1981, the holy grail of skateboarding was invented, the flat ground ollie. Yeah, you just heard it, this was probably the most important trick ever invented, because it allows us to jump with the board without using the hands. Now skaters were able to hop on sidewalk curbs, ledges, rails, and all that kind of stuff. This technique made it possible. Pop it and build up that leverage. Rare footage of Rodney ollieing a double set. Let's go. The flat ground ollie invention led him to the next miracle, the kickflip. 1982. Now you might notice there has been some sort of kickflip around before. Combining this idea with an ollie just seems obvious. But keep in mind, this was 40 years ago, and coming up with the idea using a kick to get that flip, like back in the days this was called magic flip, because skaters were just kind of unable to comprehend the magic that they saw. Skateboarding would lose like so much potential and possibilities without that trick. It might also be the most famous trick, do a kickflip, yay! And here's some footage of Mullen doing it over a picnic table. Yeah, that's Mullen doing a switch heel. He invented that trick, by the way, regular in 1982, same year. I could not find a heel flip of him. We got this triple heel instead. Flip trick champion for sure. We got this heel flip in front of a huge mountain. They look awesome. It's hard to imagine how difficult it must have been to invent these. It seems logical from kickflip to heel flip, but having the skills to do that, another story. Still in the year 1982, what a great year for flip tricks. We are getting blasted with this beauty, the impossible. Let's go. The name originates from his friends who believed it was impossible to spin around the board vertically, but within a few weeks he figured it out. And what's crazy about that is that you're actually not using the ollie technique on that one. It's more like a pressure scoop kind of thing. So with this invention we also got another way to get airtime. I think Rodney also said it's one of his favorite tricks, and yeah, like he knew how the impossible. 89 already doing the trick up a bench? Come on. Okay, here we go with possibly the most beautiful flip trick ever, the tray flip. Favorite trick of many skaters back then. Like taking the magic flip, combining it with shove-its That must have been crazy. If you skate, you know learning the trick was tough, but actually inventing it, trying to do that and not really be sure if it was possible, that takes a lot of willpower and skill. A little bit later on, we got the 360 pressure flip. Couldn't find some footage of him doing that. Here we see a regular pressure flip of him. On this one, the board is actually not going flip direction, it's going heel flip direction. That makes the board spin like a 360 inward heel. No ollie pop needed. It's all done with the pressure of the back foot. That's why the name makes a lot of sense. Okay, more basic flips, the half cab kickflip 1983, going back to back with it after that crazy finger flip, a basic flip trick that a lot of skaters don't like, me included, because it is difficult. With this one we have a body rotation added into a flip for the first time. That's crazy, yo. The full potential is getting unfolded slowly. Another trick credited to him, the one-footed ollie. I think I once saw a clip of him doing that, just couldn't find one for this video. With this one some variety is added to the ollie by lifting the front leg and extend it, making the trick look a lot different. Cool. Okay, same here, backside kickflip. This might be a little hint for beginners to learn that trick, that the fakey version is easier to learn. But yeah, a well executed regular backside flip just always looks beautiful. And of course it does feel good, trust me. Now we have a little break for 2 years and we continue with the ollie nose bone. Yeah, did you know Rodney has some crazy ollie nose bones? Like, I don't know if I can even jump that high. This added a lot of spice to the trick, made it super stylish. Yeah, I'm not really good at that one. Watch out when you try the trick, don't bone it too much. You don't want to lose your future children. Now the next trick is also one originated in freestyle skating, the ollie finger flip. William figured out a way to pop the trick, grab it on the nose and flip it midair. I love doing finger flips, they are so much fun. Rodney must have preferred to do the trick finger heel flip way, couldn't find a kickflip version. So my finger flips right here would be kind of incorrect as a reference to the trick that he invented. Intriguing, we got the air walk after the finger flip. In my opinion, the coolest grab ever, and it's funny it was invented after the finger flip. Like, I don't know, does that make sense? We got this footage of him doing it in the TV show First Try, combining the finger flip and the air walk. That's a good example for the many tricks that are not on this list. The invention of basic flip tricks continues with the frontside heel flip pop shoving, aka varial heel flip in the year 1988. A trick that you can encounter a lot in his parts. This time we have a flip variation going behind the back. How can you invent something like that? It's so hard thinking of that and we should not be forgetting about it. What a beauty. Primo! Now, as we learned, Rodney is the inventor of the tray flip. With this trick, we entered the 90s. Took 7 years to do the trick in a more difficult stance. Couldn't find a switch tray of him, but here we have it into Switch Nose Mini. That might be the first ever done as well. We can only guess. Same year, we're gonna take that Halley Pop from 11 years ago and we're gonna add a heel flip into it. I've never done that before, so I decided to make a little challenge for this video. Okay, before we're gonna have a look at the final trick of this video, we're gonna do something we haven't done before. I don't know why, but I've never done a Halley Pop heel flip. I remember trying it a few years ago, that didn't go well. In fact, I had the worst primo fall ever. We want to make up on that, have redemption. Nervous. Something. Wasn't 100% perfect, but it's good enough for the first land. I take what I can get, and I'm gonna do 2 additional ones. At least I try. Okay, from here, the technical level just started to explode. We get dart slides in the 90s. That idea was taken from the legend Mark Gonzalez. Rodney figured out how to flip into the trick. In this decade, the amount of creativity and ability is getting insane. Along with that, he came out with flip on the flip variations. The regular version is one of the hardest tricks I've ever done. If it wasn't for him to show it was possible, I'd be claiming that this, what you see right here, is not doable. It's a fake trick, deep fake, all animated. Yeah, and of course, he did multiple variations with that trick. It just takes so much time to learn each one of them. In 92, we get one of the craziest freestyle street crossovers, the Casper slide. It's so hard. Casper slides have been one of the craziest battles I've ever fought. But for him, coming with that freestyle background, he could balance them like crazy. And it's like that some of these variations will remain undone forever. We are making it to the end with Primo slides. Important to mention right here the flip in part. You gotta hold that balance and manage to lock out. He also came up with so many different variations showing what is possible. Each of these tricks should be on that list, because I strongly doubt there has been another person landing it before. And last, I want to mention a few more things. We got the half cap impossible, which was one of his favorite tricks. What a beauty. He also invented multiple variations of that one. On the list we also got 50-50s, but we're actually not talking of a 50-50 grind. I think that's how truck stands are called in freestyle skating. And of course the 360 Casper flip. Always cool to see that one, but also really tough to learn. Yeah, that was it. The most influential tricks that Rodney Mullen invented. Honestly, I wonder how skateboarding would look without him. I hope you've been liking this video. I spent a lot of time on it, doing all the research and the editing, and also if some of the provided information is not 100% correct, feel free to mention that in the comment section and correct me. Kindly asking you right here to become one of my Patreons as a support to keep my channel going. It's been rough lately with YouTube, that's why I started to create exclusive content on my Patreon. And you can subscribe to that for $1 a month. It's not much, but it would really be helping me out. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day and hopefully see you soon.